Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous. And here's his story. Hi, Ollie. Today is a bad day for me as I'm having a nausea episode. As I think I mentioned in my previous story, I've had frequent episodes of nausea since I was about 23 years old. And in Anonymous's previous story was the narcissist does nothing unconsciously. It used to be much worse and more frequent and include astonishing amounts of greenish vomit even after not eating for days. Yes, I was extremely sick. Gastroenterologists could not make heads or tails of it, and I eventually got very cynical and stopped seeing doctors about this. Although there was one doctor who said he thought it was caused by stress, and he was right on. I had the same issue after Aaron was born. Anonymous. I had crippling nausea, pains in my stomach. It was crippling, where I was out of work for 3 months, and the same thing. The gastro is like, I could see your stomach tightening. I could see where, but there's no cause of it. He's like, it's got to be stress. It's got to be. And that was during the time where right after Aaron was born, I was no contact with my parents. Oh my God, I forgot all about, I was out medically. Oh, shit, that's right. I completely forgot I was out medically during that. It was the stress of it all. And that's when I just started backing off on the no contact. And I didn't realize it was just so I could get back to work, to a place I hated going anyway. What a crazy time. What a crazy time. But I get it. Just that still no one had any idea what to do about it. After decades of thought, experience, and talking with all kinds of health professionals, I now know for sure this has to do with the PTSD from childhood physical, verbal violence combined with being the family scapegoat. This little story is just me writing whatever comes to mind in desperation, because this kind of writing has the effect of partially relieving the nausea. When I was about ages 3 to 10 years old, my dad used to especially fly into a rage when he got home from work. It was very scary, and I always just wanted to hide around 6 p.m. on weekdays, but that would just have made it worse. Usually my brother, sister, and I were sitting on the floor watching TV when he got home. A side note to this, that every weekday morning my mom would take us 3 kids out to the garage to wave and say goodbye to my dad leaving for work. I really hated that ritual. He was just in this dream world that his kids aren't selfish. He seemed to think that his kids should want to show him a lot of love, even though he regularly terrified us with unpredictable beatings and shouting. It was mostly sad to me now, although it used to be mostly about fear. And then after it was about fear, it was mostly about anger. Then I became a part-time rageaholic. Yeah, man. I mean, that's why so many of us have that rage, that near homicidal rage when we think about these people. It's why many of us, once we go no contact, thinking back on them is like, shit, I can't ever go back. I can't. I know for me, I can't. Because that rage is going to come out. It's like my brother. My brother's another part-time rageaholic. Oh, when he don't get his way, he has his little rageaholic outburst, which my father, and comes from my father. And the last time I talked to him, my parents tried to steal the house from out from under me 2 years ago, and he tried to call and gaslight me. And I called him on it, and I'm like, listen, you try to have another one of your little Rage-a-Hawk episodes on me. We both know you've never been in a fight in your life. So, and the problem with the Rage-a-Hall thing, okay, if you can't actually back it up, is eventually you'll rage out. You're going to write a rage check your ass can't cash. Oh, the gifts they give us. Getting back to this writing rant, I really can't call it a story. About 7 years later, 2 more siblings came along, making a total of 5 kids. They became the even more lost and even more neglected kids. Although I often think it seems impossible that anyone could have been more confused and lost than the scapegoat, which was me. My worst disaster relationship was my first girlfriend. Yeah, the first love disaster is not unusual, but I was so messed up that when it went bad after about 18 months, it took me about 10 years to get over it. And a lot of people commit suicide too. One day during about the first year of the relationship, she was at my house. It must have been a weekend because my dad was there, and so were my 4 siblings and some other kids. We were all kids in chronological age or in our mental emotional age. She was 16 and I was 20 going on 6. Something happened as she watched my dad interact with the kids. She stood still and kind of went into a reverie of observation, as if watching something surreal. After a while, she said to me in a voice as if still in a trance, "Your dad thinks he's helping, but all he's doing is hurting everyone." So they didn't fool everybody, huh? It's always weird when you find somebody that the narcissist can't fool. Okay? And they fool a lot less people than you think in reality after, you find out. Because we're caught in that, under their trance, under their control, under their power. They control everything about us. It's much easier for us to be manipulated, and for us to see them as these near gods. I was surprised that she was so insightful, and I knew she was spot on. Could also be why you latched on for 10 years. About 2 decades later, I was at a resort where a lot of people were sitting around a large swimming pool. It was a beautiful sunny day. There was a young, very strong-looking military guy with big muscles rushing around in and out of the pool and all around shouting at his 2 young daughters. They were probably around 5 years old, I would guess. He kept trying to teach them stuff and lecture them about all kinds of stuff. They had some playthings in the pool, and it was like he was all freaked out and angry about the floating toys weren't being played with properly, or some crazy shit like that. Yeah, when people just can't let the kid be a kid. It was extremely frantic and aggressive lecturing, as if he was wildly out of his mind. The little girls were running around all over the place, trying to be very prompt and compliant in their sweet ways. This just kept going on for probably at least a half hour, while everyone else was being kind of quieter than the people would normally be at a resort swimming pool. Most people were probably somewhat alarmed and intimidated as I was. I wanted to jump up and beat the guy to a pulp. Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, or some other guy like that, just wasn't there to do the job for me, and I didn't want to get beat up. So everyone was just enduring this very loud spectacle, like a super elephant in the outdoor room. It was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. I felt so sorry for the poor little girls. not only for what they were going through, for what kind of dreadful things that were undoubtedly going to happen with their crazy dad and their futures. I'm aware you already made a lot of videos this morning, and also that the time zone difference makes it 3 hours later where you are. So I won't be disappointed if you don't make a video of this stuff until next week, or not at all if it's too incoherent or out of my well-written context. I'm just trying to share and reduce nausea at the time. It would be cool to hear what you say about this stuff. Thanks, man. Anonymous. It is frustrating. And, you know, I have stepped in public, especially when it's when it's little girls being, because I have my own that I don't get to see, and there's a lot of reminders, and you know, it's frustrating because this type of abuse, it makes you question everything you do in your life, every confrontation, to a point where you got basically some roided up guy and you're kicking yourself in the ass for not saying something, for, you know, and you're looking at it like, oh, I should have said something. To this day, it's still bothering you. And that's the frustrating thing, is like when you can't save somebody and you can't help somebody. And you know, these are the gifts they give us, man. And listen, I had the same stomach problems that, you know, they were like trying to write off as some kind of weird form of colitis. It was all stress. It was all stress with the nausea and the stomach pains and the being doubled over. I was out of work for 3 months on that one. All during right after Aaron was born, right after, you know, and then we were no contact through the pregnancy. I got back with her. I let it go because my ex-wife was so big and it was such a rough pregnancy. I just couldn't take it anymore. I let him back in for a couple months, and then it all fell apart again when my brother then came to me and asked to go to therapy with me to keep working. And then we confronted, because he was pissed off about money, and then we had to confront my parents together for him. I stood with him on this. Oh, you fucking son of a bitch, Michael. Oh, that's why we went over there, because you wanted your money that had disappeared. My parents had taken all his Social Security money that they had earned, that they had gotten, because when my father was faking his disability for so long, my brother was collecting disability benefits through college from the time, I think he was from 1991 up until when his benefits got cut off in, well, he definitely was getting them through 2002 when my brother graduated college. He was getting, so my brother wanted to know, where's all this money? Because I went to a state school, it didn't cost all, couldn't account for it. And they blame me, and my father told my brother he hopes, that's when he told my brother that he hoped he died on a slab when my brother confronted him. Because my brother had to have this surgery done. And as they're wheeling my brother in the surgery, my father, as the doctor is explaining to my brother what's going to happen in this surgery, my father jumps in and starts talking about a pain he has. So my brother calls him on this when we go over there. My father told him he should have died on that slab. And then that's when I started getting these pains. Oh God, I forgot all about. Oh my God. Oh fuck, Michael. I'm not. Makes it even worse. Makes it even worse. Makes it even worse. But this is why we do this, everybody. This is why we do this, because even I continue to remember shit. More clarity through no contact. More clarity through no contact. Anonymous, I've been there with the stomach thing. I've been there. And what you got to realize is it's them, not you. So I hope you got what you needed out of this. You know, it was an interesting one because, you know, this is just your open rant as well, you know, just spitting it out there. And I'd like to actually see more people kind of do this, you know, quick little rants, throw it out there, you know, and see what we can dig up and just kick over some rocks for real. So thank you again, Anonymous, for your contribution and another story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to help it succeed, grow, and expand, and keep going. Because remember, this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you, this all goes away. So if you like this channel and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ali Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.